I'd like to introduce you to ArrayLists. And ArrayLists are a way of creating arrays, but a little bit easier to implement now that we understand objects and classes and so forth. So let's just jump in and I'll explain an ArrayList and how you can use it. So in order to use an ArrayList, it's a class that I have to import from the Java util library. You could put an asterisk, of course, but I'm going to specifically say ArrayList just so we can see that in action. Okay, so we're going to create a new instance of an ArrayList object in order to use it. So ArrayList. Yeah, I'm going to create an array of integers. New ArrayList. So we're creating a new instance of an ArrayList object. Okay, and so now that I have an ArrayList, an ArrayInt, which is an ArrayList object, which is being created from a class, I should have a bunch of methods and properties associated with it. Why am I not getting any drop downs to go with that? Oh, because I spelled it wrong. ArrayInt. So the idea here was I wanted to show you that here's quite a number of methods that we can use that is much simpler to deal with than what we've done with our arrays in the past. For example, well, let's start with adding 5 values to our array list. So for int I equals 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, let's just add some values. So now instead of having to know what is my last element that I was on, all I have to do is do ArrayInt, and I'm going to use this method add. And I'm just going to put in to our array, so it's going to add to the last element of my array the value of I. Okay, so now I don't have to know the subscript to put something on to the end. I didn't have to know how big my array is. I simply can use this add method. That's going to pop a value into the last element of my array list. Fantastic. Well, how do I see that element? Well, let's see. So let's loop through our array list. Equals 0, I less than, well, how do I know how big my array list is? Well, I didn't set it initially. Well, here's how you can do it. ArrayInt, remember we have new methods. So here's a method that gives me a size. So instead of length, which we've used as a property in the past, this class has the value, it has a method size, which will tell us how big, how many elements are currently in that array list. And so now that'll loop through all the elements in the array, which we know is 5. But if you didn't know, of course, that's the purpose of the size method. Let's print out the value. System.out.println. So how do I get at an element? Well, I can use get and the index that I want to access. So index of 0, index of 1, index of 2, whatever your situation is. So I'm going to use get. I'm going to put in I because we're looping through I. And so now it should put 5 elements in, and it should print out those 5 elements for us. So let's just verify that that works. And sure enough, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would encourage you to explore a little bit more about ArrayLists. They're much easier to use. And here's an introduction to ArrayLists.